a new skill is hard, and I think that's especially true in today's world. After work or school, I feel like we all just get home feeling exhausted. And then with constant emails and text messages, and of course family and friends and pets, it doesn't feel like there's much spare time to put toward learning a new skill or a hobby. At least that's kind of how I feel. Plus, there's always that urge to go on social media or YouTube and just scroll. So even if there is some free time, it often gets used up by mindless media consumption. But at the same time, I think learning new skills is really important for a lot of people. So how can we find the time and motivation to work on our hobbies and passion projects and to learn new skills? Well, this video isn't meant to give you advice or to solve all your problems. And I think everyone is just so different, and time management techniques really depend on the individual. But what I am gonna do is talk about the skill that I've been working on for about 1 month now, which is game development in Unity. One of my big life goals is to make a really good video game. And about 4 weeks ago, I basically just threw myself into the deep end and started trying to make a game. I didn't really have any background in Unity. I had already completed a couple tutorial lessons, so I knew the basics, but rather than keep doing more tutorials, I decided to venture out on my own and basically teach myself how to use the program as I went through the game making process. The game I decided to make is super basic. All you do is roll a ball up a ramp and try to collect moving objects. Now remember, I was self-teaching myself how to use Unity while I was still going to work, seeing family and friends, going to the gym, watching TV, etc., etc. I really didn't change my lifestyle at all. And that means that I didn't give myself that much time to learn Unity. And when I did finally sit down and open the program, I would have to get up in like 30 minutes to an hour to do some other task. But after about 2 weeks of learning how to make a game in Unity, using whatever slivers of time I set aside, I managed to make this. Yeah, I actually made a video about this about 2 weeks ago now, where I went more in depth about the process of making that game. And just to be clear, this isn't what the game is supposed to look like. I sort of stopped working on this game out of frustration, but after a few days I got back into it and I was actually more determined than ever to make it work. So for the second 2 weeks of the month, my plan was 1. Figure out how to properly respawn the ball after the player shoots it. 2. Make at least 2 game levels. And 3. Make a game menu. Each of these 3 things ended up being so much harder than I originally thought they would be. I've never used C# before I started to learn Unity. And if you didn't know, C# is the main coding language that you use in Unity to make games. So this is a super new concept for me, and it ended up being my main hurdle. One of the biggest issues that I'm having with using C# is that I don't even know what C# can do. I know that of course C# can make amazing games and you can do so much stuff with it, but in terms of formatting and just figuring out what, like for instance, a key on a keyboard is called in the C# language, that's just something that I totally do not know. So literally every single step of writing this code has been a big learning process for me. I've had to do so much research and so much trial and error to do basically anything. Even though learning C# has been the biggest hurdle that I've come across so far, it's also been the most satisfying and fulfilling aspect of this project. Because I really have to work for what I want. In fact, at one point I was stuck on a little programming issue and I was rewriting everything. I was watching so many YouTube tutorials and I was actually talking to people on a Unity question board online, only to realize that the entire issue was caused by a single missing semicolon. But anyways, after the 4th week, I finally completed my checklist and had a playable game. So this is the final product. I made an actual game menu, which looks like this. And when the player clicks this play button, they get sent to level 1. And then you can use the arrow keys to move the ball left and right. And you use the up key to shoot it forward. And it takes you to level 2. And then same exact thing, you just collect these red objects, and then there's a game over screen as well. Also, the way that I figured out how to get the ball to respawn at this starting point is I actually added these 2 planes. So there's one on the back of the ramp and then there's one kind of under it. And both of these planes have a tag called finish. And in my ball mover script here, you can see that I used this on trigger enter thing. And basically this is just saying that when the ball touches something with the tag finish, it should move to this position. I actually challenged myself to not go on social media at all, including YouTube, for the entire final week of the month. And I definitely think that that helped me find more time to devote to this project. Moving forward with this project, I would definitely like to make more game levels. I really like the process of making levels manually and being creative in that way. But I also think it would be cool to add in some randomization aspects, like maybe the color or the shape of the collectible objects could be randomized, or the speed at which they move. I'd also like to prettify the game because it's kind of boring to look at right now. I've spent all this time just trying to figure out the game mechanics, but I haven't really thought about the aesthetics of the game. I think I would like to add more colors to it or maybe even give it a theme. I would also really love to add music and sound effects. But yeah, that was my month of learning Unity. I had a lot of fun with this project and I'm really excited to see how it progresses. If you told me at the start of this month that this is what I would be able to create after 4 weeks, honestly, I think I would be pissed off. At the beginning of this month, I actually thought that I would be able to make a polished game in 1 week. Knowing what I know now, I think I actually could do that, or at least get close. But 4 weeks ago, opening Unity for the first time, there's just no way. And that just shows how much you can accomplish in a short time with consistency. I was able to make an actual game in Unity after just 1 month of learning the program. Now, imagine what I'll accomplish in a year if I stick with it. So, is there a skill that you want to learn? If there is, there's really no time like the present. Whether you can spare an hour a day or just 10 minutes to working on a new skill, I really do believe that we can accomplish anything if we just stick with it for long enough. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great week. Good luck. Bye.